So Death Metal number 3 released this past week by Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Jonathon, Glapion, and FCO Plascencia. It's the third issue, obviously, in the Death Metal series, and I have conflicted feelings about this issue, and really the story as a whole so far. I've been enjoying it for sure. The art is incredible. I always love Capullo's art, and Capullo, Glapion, and Plascencia are just a dream team. I love anything that they do. So the art has been phenomenal. But the story, spoilers, by the way, I will be talking about the issue and what happens in this issue. So if you haven't read it, just be warned. But so this issue continues, and we see we're going to get Superman finally. We're going to New Apocalypse, I believe is what it's called. Harley, Swamp Thing, Wonder Woman, and Batman are going to rescue Superman from the Darkseid Batman, who they call Darkfather, which is a pretty cool name. But so they're going to rescue Superman and the rest of the heroes so that they can fight back against the Darkest Knight, who is the Batman who laughs that now has Dr. Manhattan's powers as well. He calls himself the Darkest Knight, which is a whole thing that I talked about in the Legends of the Dark Knight Bats Reacts that I did. I'm not a huge fan of that, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. And so they're going to rescue him so they can fight back against him and Perpetua. And so they do that, they go to see him, and it's a cool sequence, but it has one, like, this sequence has one of my favorite moments of the book, where the Darkseid Batman pulls out a gun that it's a modified version of the one that Batman used against Darkseid in Final Crisis, and it's infused with the Omega Beams as well, and the Darkseid Batman says that this time, instead of sending him back in time, it'll erase him from existence. And this moment was just really cool for me, because having read Final Crisis, and that moment is one of the coolest in Batman history, I think. And so it was really cool to see this, and he literally shoots Bruce with it and, like, hits him with it. And I was like, oh shit, like, that's crazy. That was wild to see. But then maybe my biggest complaint about this issue happens like a page later, or a page or two later, and it's where Bruce is fine, like Wonder Woman and Superman go to, like, get him up, and he's okay. And he goes, how did you withstand that? I don't understand. And Bruce just goes, bat blocker. I came prepared. And, like, dude, this is one of the most egregious examples of, like, with prep time, Batman can be fine that I've ever seen. Like, he was just hit with, like, a cosmic bullet thing, and his reasoning for being okay is bat blocker. It completely undid all the cool part of that moment for me, because it's just absolutely ruined like 2 pages later. But it feels lazy, honestly, which I hate saying because I love Scott's work most of the time. But I read that and I rolled my eyes so hard, and I still just don't understand. But so that happened, and then but the page before, like, we see. It's pretty cool that Superman was able to survive the anti-life equation because of Batman's Black Lantern ring, which was pretty cool, which we still don't know exactly how Batman's able to wield this the Black Lantern ring, because normally you have to be dead to do that. And so probably the most interesting panel in this issue comes whenever Clark asks if Wonder Woman knows the truth about him, and he says no more than she does about you. And so that's really interesting. So clearly Clark and Bruce are keeping something from Diana, and we don't know what it is. One of my guesses is maybe that they're their pre-crisis selves, which I don't really know if that would make a whole lot of sense, but it was just one of the first things that popped into my mind. Another thing would be them being their pre-Flashpoint selves, which, like, Batman kind of is already his pre-Flashpoint self. He was one of the few that kept his history when the New 52 happened, and then Superman is a combination of his pre- and post-Flashpoint self already also because of Superman Reborn. But yeah, so I don't really know what that's going to be. But then the rest of the issue, we get some more with Dr. Fate and the Flashes, and the JSA kind of, and the Robin King shows up and is being threatening and stuff, and then it, like, leads into the fact that the Darkest Night is going to be coming, and so the Flashes need to run. This is basically setting up what I assume will be covered in the Speed Metal tie-in, and so that was pretty cool, I suppose. And then after that we flash back to the Trinity freeing the rest of the heroes of the DC Universe, which is really cool to see all of them, of course. I really love seeing that. And then that just transitions into Wonder Woman saying the plan for what they have to do and harnessing the anti-crisis energy to restart the multiverse as they see fit. And we get a cool scene with Jarro, and Jarro coming back and, like, Batman hugging Jarro, which is really, really cool. If you haven't read Scott Snyder's Justice League, it's a whole thing. That's why this is happening. But that's pretty cool to see. But one of my other complaints about this issue and the 3 issues that we've gotten so far is that it feels like it's been 90 pages of this is the plan. Like, I feel like we've known what the heroes needed to do to win since before the book even started releasing, kind of. Like, we knew that they were fighting against Perpetua, that Wonder Woman was looking for the truth in the multiverses, and that they knew they had to fix the cosmic balance of things. And then the first issue, it very early on established that they needed to harness the anti-crisis energy to like restart the multiverse. And so we knew that in the first issue. And in the second issue, it's like repeated that they need to do that to restart the multiverse. And then again, that's what happens here. And so it just feels like it's been 3 issues of like getting everyone back together and being like, okay, this is the plan, like over and over again. And I feel like it's just treading water. Like, stuff happens, but at the same time, the plot doesn't feel like it's moved forward very much in that amount of time. And so I really, really hope that the second half, it's 7 issues, so like we're kind of at the halfway point, I guess. We've got a couple months until number 4, because September is a skip month for the series. But I really hope that the later 4 issues kick things into gear and a lot more crazy stuff starts happening whenever we get to those issues after the break. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it overall. Like, I have fun reading this book. The art, as I said, is phenomenal, and it's a solid read whenever I read through it. It's just, I feel like not a whole lot has happened so far that really, I don't know, like I said, I just feel like it's just been a lot, like it's spent a long time setting things up for things to happen then later on, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, I don't know, I feel weird about it. Oh, and then the end of the issue is Lobo. We see him doing some more stuff. He's collecting these boxes, and he's talking to someone, and that someone is revealed to be Lex Luthor, who I'm not surprised at all to see that he's still around. And that's like the final reveal of the issue. And he said that in those boxes are the death metal, which that I think is really interesting. I thought the death metal was just the name that they were going for with this, but to see that it has plot significance will be cool. So I'm excited to see what comes from that reveal as well. But yeah, overall, again, I enjoyed it. It's a very solid issue. The art is amazing. And the story is interesting for sure. And I'm excited to see what happens with them reshaping and rebooting the multiverse, basically, or structuring the multiverse. But as I said, I feel like it's kind of been a lot of setup so far. So hopefully the second half really kicks things into gear. But those are my thoughts on Death Metal number 3. If you have any thoughts, feel free to comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn that notification bell on. I have 2 videos going out every week, typically on Mondays and Fridays, but sometimes the days switch around. This one's going up on a Saturday, for instance. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to tune in to the next one. Later.